Sports on Tap Detroit, brought to you by the Realtors of the Joe Wright Group, Jason Stiltner of Flagstar Bank, Time Out with Steven Scott, presented by Baldman Entertainment.
Buckle the fuck up.
It's time to play the game.
They are who we thought they were, and we let them off the hook.
Time to play the game.
You can't let that shit happen.
You play to win the game.
If we take a fucking tight end, I quit.
Cannot win with him. Can't do it.
Time to play the game.
Welcome to Sports on Tap Game Day. I'm Chris Scott alongside Joe Waddell. Frank Gigotta is still out. He's sick, unfortunately.
Under the weather.
Under the weather. Frank, hope you get better soon here. That would be fantastic.
It'd be great.
It would be.
I mean, I know, Frank, you think it'd be great for you too, but it'd be great for us as
Yes, absolutely. So last week, like week 2 in the NFL, again, another crazy week.
well. First 2 weeks have been insane,
Seriously,
man. I just
Comebacks galore, man.
comebacks galore, upsets. It hasn't been. I mean, at least for us, it hasn't been very predictable.
It really hasn't been, and just like I said, some of these comebacks are just like you got to be kidding me. But that's the NFL. When you play prevent a win defense, that's what happens.
You prevent yourself from winning.
Exactly.
It says it in the title.
It really does. So, with that being said,
I want to give a shout out to Steve joining us today.
what's up, buddy?
Yeah, it's time to play the game. Morning, Steve.
Yes.
Appreciate you joining in, and everybody else who is listening and or watching.
Absolutely. It is time for week 3, and I mean, with that being said, let's get to it.
Let's dive in.
Let's get in, man. First up, we got the New Orleans Saints taking on the Carolina Panthers. New Orleans is laying 2.5, which is receiving 59% of the money. The over-under is at 41, which is receiving 59% of the money as well, and 57% of the money is going to New Orleans, money line at minus 136.
Yeah, I don't know why, but I really do like New Orleans in this game.
I do too.
I
I don't think Carolina's that good.
don't either. I'm not even sure how they're favored, even at home in this game.
No, Carolina's a dog.
Oh yeah, they are. Yeah, you're right. I'm sorry. I mean, they should be more of a dog than just -2, -2.5, whatever it is. You can actually get it for, if you're on the side of New Orleans, you can get it at DraftKings right now for -2.
Okay.
Everywhere else is 2.5. It looks like. But yeah, I just, as long as Jameis Winston's going to play in this game, and I mean he's questionable, we're going to keep an eye on that. We'll let you know.
I think that's why the line's so low.
Probably we're gonna let you know all the injury updates as they come in on the Twitter feed. Chris has those pulled up, so he'll let you know as they come up. But I just think New Orleans is the better team. For some reason, Matt Rule doesn't know how to use Christian McCaffrey very well anymore. Like last year, the first couple games, he did.
Yeah.
Like he looked great. And now that Christian McCaffrey's back, and by all accounts, he's healthy. Like he's just not getting
that we know of.
He's just not getting even involved. He's not involved in the way he should be. He's not involved in pass plays. He's not. I mean, he's been targeted I think 9 times out of the first 2 games, which for Christian McCaffrey is not that great.
It is not.
And it's you have to get Christian McCaffrey more involved. And I think the theme of the first few weeks has been coaching.
Mm-hmm.
Like
A lot of boneheaded decisions.
a lot of really weird, boneheaded decisions. You hit it right, and then the cream of the crop coaching has really shined.
Yeah, right.
In the first few weeks, and then the pile of garbage that is coaching has definitely had a light shined on it as well.
Oh,
I
absolutely,
mean,
it has.
it's
In a big way too.
in a very big way. So yeah, this is a matchup I like New Orleans in.
Yeah, me too.
And what did you say the over under was?
41.
41.
And most of the money is on the over.
Yeah, I'm not sure I'd go near that one, but I do like New Orleans in this one.
Yeah, for sure.
I'd even give away the 2. Take a money line if you want, but
No, I'm with you on that one. Fantasy-wise, what are you looking at?
So this one's a tough one to look at. Christian McCaffrey, I'm not going to go too much into that. You're going to have to play him if you have him. I just said it. I don't like the way Matt Rule is using him. Mm-hmm. Hopefully they can get him more involved and design the offense a little bit more around him. Mm-hmm. Baker Mayfield, if you're having to start him in a one quarterback league, you're fucked. If he's in a two quarterback, maybe. But New Orleans is a tough matchup for a quarterback. That defense is no slouch. When it comes down to DJ Moore, you got to play him. You got to hope for the upside. You got to hope for some volume. Robbie Anderson is the one that's been intriguing to me. He's all he needs is one big play, and he's got your points for you for the day. You know what I mean? A 70-yard touchdown, and you're good to go. But it's a matter of whether you want to roll the dice on that every week or not. And as far as I'm concerned, you're shaking your head, and I agree.
No.
I'm not willing to roll my dice on that.
Absolutely not, no.
On the other side of the ball, I do like Jameis Winston if he plays in this game. Keep an eye on Alvin Kamara. He sat out last week with a rib injury. He was a limited participant in practice all week, which does kind of...
Yeah, it still says questionable.
Yeah, so I would say he's on the positive side of questionable at this point.
But still, even that...
he at least got in limited practices all week.
Yeah.
So I keep an eye on it. Last week he didn't practice at all.
Yeah.
And he was listed as questionable, which, again, last week I told you guys he was on the negative side of questionable. This week I'd say he's on the positive side of questionable, but keep an eye on it. If he's playing, you have to put him in there. You drafted him high enough, you have to play him. I'm just not necessarily – I have him in 2 leagues, and I'm not really comfortable – putting him out there with that rib injury, but if he's playing, I have to put him out there. I have to put him in my lineup. I have no choice.
I'm with you on that one. It's unfortunate sometimes you got to do that, but
yeah, it's a rule of thumb. You don't sit your studs, and
no,
maybe as bad as Kamara
it's like in euchre, you don't pass on a Bauer,
right? You can't, you just can't
pass on a Bauer, lose for an hour. It's kind of what it is, but. If you draft your studs, there's a reason why you drafted them.
Right. You can't bail on him after one either. Well, with Kamara, it's one bad week and then a week where he sat out with an injury. So you drafted him in probably the second round.
Yeah.
And after 2 weeks, are you sitting your second round pick because of 2 weeks? I'm not.
No.
So
it's just like Kyle Pitts owners, like myself. Like at some point. He has to produce. It's not generally his fault that he's not producing. He's not getting used like Christian McCaffrey. Mm-hmm. He's not getting used the right way.
Right.
And
with Kyle Pitts, you look at guys like Kyle Pitts, Alvin Kamara. Their talent didn't just go away.
No.
Like it didn't just disappear overnight. So a lot of it is scheme, a lot of it is game plan. And listen, the cream tends to rise to the top.
And then their idiot coach is like, well, we do things to help win games. Well, throw the ball to your best player.
Right?
Like, I don't understand your logic here. If you don't use your best player, how does that help you win games?
Get the ball into the hands of your best players.
And speaking of, you play to win the game.
You play to win the game.
Did you see Uncle Herm got fired at Arizona State?
No.
But it's coming out now that he got fired, but his assistants were leaking information to the other teams to help him get fired.
Oh, Jesus.
I was like, damn, dude.
Wow. Are we serious?
Yeah, absolutely. It's like, that's crazy.
Apparently his assistants weren't
they were not playing to win
the game.
They were not. Oh, that's fantastic.
That's fucking messed up.
That's not good. But, I guess if you look at it, it kind of goes to, his character. Like, if your assistant coaches are willing to do that, that says something about you as a head coach.
Yeah.
That's not good. Anyways, let's go to a not good situation to another not good situation. The Houston Texans taking on the Chicago Bears. Houston is getting 3, and that's the money is 58% on that. 64% of the money is on the under at 39, and 60% of the money line is on Houston at plus 135. I wouldn't touch this fucking game. You could pay me to touch this game.
You've got a team that's 1-1 at home against a team that's 0-1-1.
Yeah.
And neither one of these teams looks very good.
Nope.
You've got a Chicago Bears team that they lost by 17 last week. Mm-hmm. And they threw the ball 11 times.
Yeah.
Like 11 times. And I know Frank was in the group chat. I think I saw him say, and he's a Justin Fields hater.
He hates Justin Fields.
He hates him with a passion.
It's amazing how much he hates Justin Fields.
So he'll take every chance he gets to dog Justin Fields.
Oh,
and after
for sure.
that game, I mean, you can't really necessarily defend Justin Fields.
No.
The first game he looked in a bad weather game. First game, Justin Fields actually looked pretty good in a bad weather game. He made some good throws. They won that game. But sometimes you have to look at the overall picture. And I think his comment was something along the lines of in a game where you're playing your division rival and you lose like that and you only throw for under 100 yards. Well, they only had him throw the ball 11 times.
Yeah.
He had 7 completions.
Yeah.
Out of 11 attempts.
That
also goes to coaching staff.
Exactly. I was just gonna say that goes to using your best player. You're not using your best player properly.
And it's sad. Chicago doesn't really have many weapons for them to use, right?
don't.
I mean, they don't. They have David Montgomery, who rushed the ball, I think, 15 times for like 120 yards, which is a good stat line for him. But if you lose by 17 points and you've only thrown the ball 11 times, there's a problem there.
Yep.
Like, was Justin Fields, did he look great? No. Did he look good? No.
Not really.
But you also have to point to, it wasn't just his fault at this point. You threw the ball 11 times.
11 times.
He only had 4 incompletions.
Like I know Green Bay's got a decent secondary and they just got a decent defense. Period. But I mean, you got to throw the ball more than 11 times.
Right.
Like,
You
especially
have to.
in today's NFL.
You have to.
You have to throw the ball more than 11 times.
You lost by 17 points,
Yeah.
bro. Like, you can't just keep handing the ball to David Montgomery and going, well, we're just going to chalk this one up to a loss. What are you doing?
That's bad. That's really bad.
But as far as betting this game, you really couldn't. You couldn't pay me to bet this game.
If I did, I would take the under. That's about it.
Yeah, I would like the under in this game. Was it 39.5? You said
It's 39.
39.
Yeah.
Okay. I would do under 39 in this game for sure. Which tells me, I'm just going to throw this out there for everybody, fantasy football wise, daily fantasy. I'm not playing anybody in this Houston-Chicago matchup. Under 39 points is what Vegas has it set to. Why would you ever play? Why would you ever play players in DFS
you're not going to score
in a game where they're not going to score many points?
No.
Like I wouldn't put anybody in there.
And frankly, it goes for regular fantasy too.
Well, right. I mean, that's you're. Sometimes you're stuck playing them in regular fantasy because those are the guys on your team.
Yeah.
In daily fantasy, I wouldn't touch anybody in this. But if I had to be on one side of the gambling in this one, I would take Chicago minus the 3. But I'm not even really comfortable with that. So if you want to take anything in this, maybe take Chicago money line. It's only minus 3, so it's not like you're gonna have to pay up too much
Right.
for that money line. Maybe take that.
Right. And like I said, fantasy,
Bro. I just
I got nothing for you, man.
This one's rough. I mean, the only thing I might play in DFS in this one would be the Chicago defense. And if you're trying to stream defenses in your regular fantasy league, streaming the Chicago defense is not a bad idea. I don't really necessarily like anybody in this game. I mean, if you have Dameon Pierce on your squad, you probably drafted him high. If you drafted him towards the end of drafting season.
Right.
And you might have to put him back out there. He had a promising game last week after kind of laying a dud in week 1. So maybe you put him out there. Brandon Cooks is a guy that you kind of have to start. You drafted him high enough. I wouldn't expect much in this game.
No.
Maybe he gets you a long touchdown, and that holds you over fantasy-wise. Hopefully, fingers crossed. David Montgomery, he's getting utilized pretty well. He could get you some yards.
I think he's going to get a lot of touches today.
Yeah, I think he could. And then Justin Fields, listen, it's kind of a wait and see with this kid right now. And part of it goes to him, part of it goes to coaching staff. I think it's a kind of an even split right now on why he's not putting up numbers. He's got to step up, and the coaching staff has to utilize him better and in better ways. They have to set him up to succeed, not to fail.
It's definitely a combination of things.
Yeah.
Obviously, like you just said, the coaching staff not using him properly, and him just not having any weapons to help him out.
They really don't. Darnell Mooney, I'm sorry, he's a good receiver. He's not a number 1. Cole Kmet hasn't stepped up at all at tight end.
He has like 0 catches this year.
He hasn't stepped up at all. And again, I look at it. a lot of it goes to game plan too. You need to scheme to get your players open. You need to scheme for your quarterback to succeed. He's a running quarterback. He
roll him out.
He can throw out of the pocket. He is a decent pocket passer.
Right.
He's shown that. But you have to make some adjustments and scheme to get him in positions to succeed.
I say you got to roll him out.
Yes.
You know, that would help significantly.
Some more RPOs.
Yeah.
It's just, it doesn't look good in Chicago right now. Yeah, I mean, David Montgomery, you kind of got to play him. He's succeeded enough, and he's going to get, like you said, he's going to get work in this game.
Oh, for sure.
So, but Justin Fields, 2-quarterback league. I have him in our league, in the Sports on Tap League of Record.
Yes.
As a second quarterback. We can only carry 2 quarterbacks in that league.
Yeah.
You can start 2, and you can only carry 2.
Right.
So right now, he's my number 2. And I'm throwing him in the lineup, and I'm not picking anybody up right now because there's not much to pick up out there right now.
No, there isn't. I was looking at that the other day.
You know, maybe if Jameis was 100% healthy and I knew he was going to play, maybe. But I'm just keeping my fingers crossed in this game that he gets a rushing touchdown and maybe pulls through a little bit in this game for me. In another league, I have him in a 2-quarterback league as well, but we can carry more than 2 quarterbacks, so I'm starting somebody else in his spot this week.
Right.
And it's one where if you have to start him, you just hold your breath, cross your fingers, and hope for the best. But if you got other options, fucking play him right now.
Absolutely.
Because he's a wait and see at this point.
Yes, I agree with you on that one. Next up, we got the Kansas City Chiefs taking on the Indianapolis Colts. 84% of the money is on Kansas City, laying 5.5. The over-under is pretty split at 51%, for the under at 50.5, and 93% of the money is with Kansas City. Money line at minus 230. Indianapolis sucks. That's a bad football team.
It is, which is why I'm surprised this isn't a bigger line.
There's something.
It's a little
here.
strange.
It is a little strange.
With that being said, Kansas City has been world beaters.
I think this is Indianapolis' first home game too.
Yeah.
I believe.
It's God, talk about coaching. Frank Reich.
What happened, dude?
What I don't know, but I mean it's been piss poor.
Yeah, it has been. He's made some really, really funky decisions.
Like and I know they were without Michael Pittman last week. I'm sorry, Michael Pittman Jr. last week. But that shouldn't make that offense look as bad as they
No,
did.
but you gotta also factor in that you have the corpse of Matt Ryan as your quarterback.
And that's really kind of shining right now as to maybe how washed he really is.
Yeah.
Because by all intents and purposes, everyone had him as an upgrade.
Yep.
Over Carson Wentz, who was there last year. And at this point in time, it doesn't really look like that.
It does not. But you see that guy. He's how old is he? Like almost 40.
Yeah, I think he is. I think he is 40. Actually,
there you
I
go.
think.
Yeah, I think that dude's washed. But also would that be? Yeah, you have Jonathan Taylor, and that's great. But now offenses are keying on him, and I mean he's still going to put up his numbers, but
you have to lean on your studs. You have to put the ball in the hands of your best players.
Yes.
And yes, last week one of their best players was not in the lineup, Michael Pittman Jr. But with that being said, you didn't really utilize Jonathan Taylor as well as you could have last week. And you didn't set your team up to succeed. It was a very piss poor game by Indianapolis last week. It was one of the
when you get shut out by the Jaguars,
bro. It was one of the worst performances by an NFL franchise I've seen in a single game in a long time.
It was bad.
It was bad.
Yeah, if you get shut out by the Jaguars, there's some issues there.
Very much.
But then we go to the fantasy aspect of this. I mean, I think everybody from Kansas City are starting. You know, obviously your Kelsey, your Mahomes, if you have them. I actually like Edwards-Helaire in this game.
I think he'll probably get some work in this game if Kansas City's up. But see, I don't like that backfield at all, and I'll tell you why. Not that anybody in that backfield is bad, right? So you got Isaiah Pacheco, who you were big on before the season started, right? He's getting some play.
Yep.
CEH is getting some play. And Jerick McKinnon's getting some play. So it's almost like a three-headed backfield that I just don't want any part of at this point because it's almost like they're going to go with the hot hand, right?
Yeah.
So, and when when they go with the hot hand and they've only got 2 running backs in the backfield, okay, you got a 50-50 shot at your guy being the guy.
Right.
there's 3 guys in that backfield right now getting touches. That scares me away from really playing anybody.
But I think it's simply because I think CEH will get the touches like at the goal line.
Yeah.
That's why I like him today. But we'll see, because Andy Reid's going straight Mike Shanahan, and just you have no idea.
One, it's been weird because I have seen Jerick McKinnon the first couple weeks get a couple of goal line or red zone carries, and I'm like, McKinnon's like the size of my daughter.
Yeah, he's
like,
he's not a big dude.
What are we doing? Why is he getting the carries down there? But yeah, it's just one of those backfields that I'm a little leery of. CEH could have a good game today because, listen, the game script would say that they're going to be up in this game at a certain point. And so the game script could definitely favor him for sure. Michael Pittman, if he's back, and from what I see, he's not even listed as questionable. So I would play him. Jonathan Taylor, you're playing.
Of course.
Everybody else, I'm staying away from on that side of the ball. I don't want to roll the dice on any secondary options on Indianapolis right now.
Nope.
It's just not worth it. I tell you what, if you have Patrick Mahomes, you're licking your chops for this game.
Oh, for sure.
I'll be honest with you. He could probably throw for 400 yards and 4 or 5 touchdowns in this game.
I wouldn't be shocked to see that in the least.
Yeah,
I really wouldn't be.
This could be a very, very.
I think he throws
very
for
good
at
game
least.
for him.
I think he throws for at least 350.
I would agree with you on that one. I think you're looking at a big game from Patrick Mahomes. As far as who he's throwing to, listen, Travis Kelce's obviously the main guy, and if you drafted him, you're putting him out there in your lineup, no questions asked. So we don't have to go much into that. But as far as the receivers go, you've got basically a 3-headed monster there, right? And they're talking about getting a 4th involved in Sky Moore, who they drafted in the 2nd round. They're talking about getting him more involved. So you got, let's see, you got Juju Smith-Schuster.
Juju.
He has 11 targets overall, I believe. Valdez-Scantling, 11 targets overall. Mecole Hardman, 10 targets. They're all getting very similar volume, right? And that's a tough one to roll with every week and try and figure out who the guy's going to be. Like if you've got 3 guys. Again, it's like the backfield. Good luck trying to figure out who the guy's going to be.
That's Andy Reid offense,
Right.
That's always been an Andy Reid offense.
I don't want any part of it. I mean, you can put one of those guys out there if you have them on your roster because this is probably going to be a high-scoring game as far as Kansas City side of the ball, right?
I think you're going to get some garbage type points from Indianapolis as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, but with those 3 wide receivers on KC, I mean, I guess you could do worse, but I'm not necessarily hoping and praying for them to have a big game and put them in my lineup.
Right.
But proceed at your own risk.
Yes, exactly. I think it goes with anything fantasy though.
It does, especially this year so
no
far.
Doubt. Next up, we got the Buffalo Bills traveling to Miami to take on the Dolphins. 67% of the money is on Buffalo minus 4.5. 83% of the money is on the over at 53.5, and 83% of the money is on Buffalo money line at minus 210. I'm hammering the Dolphins in this one.
Yeah.
Hammering the Dolphins in this one. Buffalo's entire secondary is out. Like I'm looking at it right here. Buffalo's projected starting secondary today. Kyer Elam, rookie. Christian Bedford, rookie, 6th-round pick. Damar Hamlin, 2021, 6th-round pick.
Wow.
Jaquan Johnson, 2019, 6th-round pick. I'm hammering the Dolphins in this one.
So yeah, I'm kind of on your side in this one, and it sounds weird to not go with Buffalo because they've looked like the true pure Super Bowl contender.
But
right?
when you're missing your entire fucking secondary, that's a big deal.
Yeah, that's a huge deal. And Micah Hyde's been put on injured reserve, right?
Which sucks, yep.
That's a hit for Buffalo, not even just in this game, overall. And I tell you, for a game that originally I looked at and I didn't like Tua or those receivers in this game.
Love them now.
Yeah. Like I've gone from not wanting this matchup to, wow, give me this fucking matchup. Like I will take Tua and those receivers in this matchup now
I would
all
take
day.
and I love the over in this too.
Yeah, the over, what, 52.5?
Yeah, 53.5.
53.5. Okay,
I
it's gone
I
up.
love the over in this one.
I do. I love the over in this one as well. I think both offenses will move the ball. Both offenses will score.
Yeah.
Especially with Buffalo being down their entire secondary.
Secondary, dude. It's crazy.
I'm with you, though. I would take Miami in this game. Give me the 4.5 points.
Mm-hmm.
And I might even dabble. I said this. I think this is the third week in a row I've said this. I'll take Miami on money line as well.
Mm-hmm.
I think they could very much win this game, and a lot of people had them counted out last week. I won some ducats on.
I still have no idea how they came back in that game,
I don't either, but I'll take it.
especially with like the game Lamar had,
Yeah,
and of course fantasy last week. I go up against a team who has Lamar
and Tua.
and Tua.
Yeah,
Like great.
that was talk about drawing the short straw.
I'm like great. That's like I knew we had Lamar, so I was already kind of like okay. So I didn't even look until Monday to see how bad it was, and then I saw he had Tua as well. I'm like, sweet.
Yeah, talk about drawing the short straw.
It really was.
That one is. That's one of those where you're like, well, that's my fucking luck.
Cool, man.
That's
That's great.
I just got hosed.
Totally. I mean, your team put up like 300 some odd points.
Yeah,
Like
it
shit,
was
dude.
it was a disgusting
It was.
output. Yeah, I like Miami in this game.
Yep.
I'll take the points, and I'll also take a money line, just because I think they do have a shot to win this game at home in Miami against the Buffalo secondary that
Depleted.
is yeah, it's like a mash
It
unit.
really is.
So
But yeah, like we were talking fantasy wise. I mean, especially for Miami, I think your receivers. I think they're gonna have a big day. I think Tyreek Hill's gonna go wild in this game.
I mean, and at this point, it's almost been dead even as far as Waddle and Hill with targets, with production. I like both these guys in this game. I think they both complement each other very well. I think Waddle does those routes over the middle while Tyreek takes those deep routes. And that whole offense is kind of complementary of each other. You know what I mean? And it really, they really kind of work well as a group, as a unit. Yeah, I'm loving everybody on the offensive side of the ball on both teams in this game.
And that's why I think we both love the over on this one. So I think there's going to be a lot of points put up in this game.
Very much. And with that being said, after we say that, this will end up being like a 9-3 game because we have said we love the offenses.
Of course.
And it's going to be an over. But yeah, I don't want to analyze this one too much. If Gabe Davis is healthy, you're playing him.
Yep.
Stephon Diggs, you're playing him. Josh Allen, you're playing him. I'm not going to overanalyze this.
I can see Dawson
Play your
Knox
guys.
having a decent game in this one.
This could be his this year's coming out game for him.
I think so.
I don't dislike him in this game. I'm a little hesitant. I'm a wait and see on him a little bit still because he has been so non-existent.
Yeah.
But no, I think you could be right. This could be this could be a get right game for him.
Yep. I could absolutely see that. And
When you look at it, so Xavier Howard's probably going to be the guy that shadows Diggs, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if Gabe Davis is still kind of banged up, Isaiah McKenzie's good, but he's not great. Maybe this is a Dawson Knox game.
I'm in favor of that. Next up, we got the Detroit Lions traveling to Minnesota to take on the Vikings.
The Leos.
66% of the money is with Detroit getting 6.
Super Bowl bound, baby.
57% of the money is on the under at 52.5, and 52% of the money is on Minnesota money line at minus 260.
Super Bowl bound Lions.
Are they for real?
That's tough to say right now.
I mean,
bro.
they do look significantly better. They do.
They do.
You can't deny that.
So the offense looks significantly
Yes.
better. That defense does not look very good still.
I think Justin Jefferson has a monster day today.
So I like all Minnesota Vikings, and so I'm not going to hate on the Lions right
As long
now,
as
right?
Kirk Cousins doesn't go Kirk Cousins like he did last week.
Well, it's not a primetime game, so
Right,
it should be all right.
exactly. That's a Kirk Cousins we all know and love.
Right. Like it's not a primetime game. So in this game, I really don't want to bet either side of this. I stay away from Lions games anyway.
Yep.
I don't. I mean, if I had to take something, I probably would take the Lions +6.
Yeah.
It's weird for me to say that. Fucking really weird for me to say that. BetMGM doesn't even have this game available
Is that right?
to bet as far as point spread
No
goes.
shit.
Oh, excuse me. So yeah, I if I had to, I would take Detroit plus the 6. They've looked good enough. They stay in games. Even if they lose, I think you should be pretty comfortable getting 6 points from them, because even if Minnesota gets out to a big lead, Detroit's proven they can come back. They have an offense that can come back in a game and make it look closer than maybe it was or is, and get it within 6 points. But I think the main thing I like in this one is the over.
Yeah, I do like the over in this one.
Both teams score.
Yeah.
I mean, Minnesota's got offensive weapons galore.
That's the only thing I would touch in this. Is
Detroit can score. I mean,
Yep.
they have offensive weapons, and they've proven that offense is able to score. I don't want to say at will, but I mean they put up points.
Raiders running back Josh Jacobs is active today.
Is active.
Yes.
Yeah, he caught a late flight
Yeah.
because he had an illness, so he didn't fly with the team. But once they said he was flying in.
You kinda figured he was
Even after, so when they first said he wasn't flying with the team,
Yeah.
Everyone was rushing out and picking up Zamir White,
Yeah.
and Brandon Bolden. They're rushing out to pick up those guys. They're like, oh, Jacobs isn't going to play. I'm going to play these guys. I learned last week, don't do shit like that, because I thought Taysom Hill was going to have a good week with Kamara out. That fucked me over bad. I thought Paris Campbell was going to have a good game with Michael Pittman being out. That fucked me over very bad. So even if Josh Jacobs wasn't going to play, rushing out to pick up Zamir White and Brandon Bolden was probably not a great strategy.
Who?
Yeah. So, but anyway, back to this game. Offensive weapons galore. I like everybody in this game, honestly. Amon-Ra St. Brown
He's been a stud.
he has outplayed his real life draft position.
Yeah, for sure. He's been
above
good.
and beyond anything you could ever
100%.
expect.
He's been fantastic.
And then, Swift, you play. Even Jamal Williams, I like in this game. Other side of the ball, I think this is a get-right game for Dalvin Cook. He hasn't looked very good in the first few weeks. They haven't utilized him properly. Talk about coaching staff not utilizing a guy properly.
Yeah.
Dalvin Cook has just not been utilized properly. I think he's been out the last few games that they played against Detroit. But in his last game where he did play against Detroit, he had over 200 total yards, and I believe 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
I think this is a get-right game for Dalvin Cook. With that being said, I still like the passing offense. I like Kirk Cousins. I like Justin Jefferson. I think Irv Smith is a good play in this one at tight end because, listen, he didn't do anything in week 1, but he came out last week and he showed what he can be. Mm-hmm. He's very athletic for a tight end. He had a good game. Could have been a great game if he didn't drop that wide open pass that would have been a touchdown. I mean, that went right through his fucking hands.
It did.
So I'm looking at this game, and I like him as well if you need a tight end play this week. I like all the offense on both sides. Give me everybody.
And then, again, that's kind of why I'm leaning toward the over in this one, because I think points are definitely going to be put up.
I agree. And talking about DFS, Dalvin Cook is one of my spend-up running backs this week in DFS. I fucking love putting him in DFS lineups this week.
And he always seems to do well against the Lions.
He does. Whenever he plays against him, he does well. And this, to me, this is a get-right game. Spend up for Dalvin Cook this week in your DFS.
Nice.
I love that play.
Next up, a matchup that used to be incredibly sexy. Now it's just like, whatever. Baltimore taking on New England. 84% of the money is on Baltimore minus 2.5. 58% of the money is on the over at 44. And 88% of the money is on Baltimore money line at minus 141.
Give me Baltimore.
Yeah, I'm with you. Give me Baltimore. I think Lamar stays hot. You can tell he's playing with a chip on his shoulder, man.
He is.
He absolutely is playing with a chip on his fucking shoulder.
He is. I like Baltimore minus the 2.5 in this game.
And plus, you got Matt Patricia calling plays for the Patriots. So,
yeah, and if I just don't get me started on that one. But like, if you want to be on the safer side, take Baltimore money line. You can't. You're not going to pay up too much for that.
Yep.
Because it's a minus 2.5 line anyway. Minus 2.5 for Baltimore is depending on where you're looking at. It's minus 110 or minus 120, minus 112. So the biggest one here is DraftKings has it to minus 2.5 for minus 120. I wouldn't go there for that. BetMGM has it at minus 110.
Yeah.
For minus 2.5. Go there. So does Caesars. Take them there, and then money line there is going to be not much of a spend up either. So you're probably going to get the money line there for minus 120, 130, as opposed to if you went to DraftKings, it's minus 120 just to give up the 2.5. So be smart about your gambling as well. Look for the better odds.
Yeah, FanDuel has that at 110
at the
too.
books. FanDuel has it at 110 too. It shows 112 on mine here, but that might have updated then.
Yeah.
But yeah, so be smart about where you place your bets and look for the best odds that you can get on your side
Yes.
of where you want to bet.
Yes.
With that being said, fantasy-wise, I mean, so you're playing Mark Andrews.
Yeah.
You're playing Rashad Bateman.
Yep.
A 21% target share for Rashad Bateman so far. Andrews has a 32% target share. The only thing is, temper your expectations for Mark Andrews in this game. What does Bill Belichick do?
He takes
On
away
defense.
He takes away your best option.
Takes away your best option.
Yep.
So, will he try to take away Lamar's running, or will he try to take away Lamar's best target?
I don't know. We're going to find out.
I'm leaning towards he's going to try to take away. It's an easier task to try to take away Lamar's best target.
Right.
It's too difficult to try and scheme to take away Lamar Jackson's running.
Right.
Right. I mean, that's a tall task. So I lean towards the fact he's going to try and take away Mark Andrews. So just temper your expectations. Don't be surprised if you get a 4-catch for 40-yard game with no touchdowns. It just could happen against a Bill Belichick coach defense. But I like Bateman in this game.
Shut up, Bateman. I'm glad you got that reference.
Yeah. Oh, God. So on the other side of the ball, I don't really like much in this game. Jacoby Myers has been a target fucking just vacuum. I mean, he's getting all the targets almost. So if he's healthy and playing, I know he's questionable. If he's actually going to play, I would put him out there. He's like I said, he's getting all the targets almost.
Yeah.
I mean, his target share is got to be astronomical. I'm not sure what it is. I can't see it here, but I mean, he's getting like 11 targets a game almost.
It's quite a bit.
Yeah. So other than that, I don't really like much of anything. Damian Harris is possibly a decent play because Baltimore can be run on. So I wouldn't be against playing Harris in this one. But other than that, I'm not necessarily looking forward to playing anybody else.
I don't like
in this
really
game.
anybody on the Patriots side of the ball. I really don't. It's again, the guy who's calling the plays. No, I don't like anybody on that side of the ball.
Yep.
But I mean, if you're forced to, then well, that's kind of unfortunate for you. But
Yeah. Yep. I mean, if you're forced to, it's guys like Damian Harris or Jacoby Myers that are the ones you need to look at. If you're looking at anybody else other than those, I think you need to look elsewhere.
Yes, 100%. Next up, we got the Cincinnati Bengals taking on the New York Jets. He is laying 6, and that is going off at 77% of the money. 80% of the money is on the over at 45, and 85% of the money is on Cincinnati money line at minus 250.
I really don't want any part of this game.
Nope, sure don't.
Bengals are 0-2.
Dude, their offensive line is horrendous.
They're projected to be one of the biggest survivor pool picks this week. Cincinnati
Is that right?
And
Wow.
I don't think I'm necessarily comfortable doing that.
No.
New York has proven they can play with teams, and
They did your Browns last week.
elite Flacco, right? I mean, like, yeah, that's so. I mean, I'll talk about that one for a second. I have to take the time to dog
You should.
the Browns, despite the fact they looked decent on Thursday night this week.
They did.
We didn't have a
Nick
chance.
Chubb, man, just
Again, it's and so I had said, Amari Cooper, I would stay away from him. And right after I said that, last 2 weeks, he's gone for 100 yards and a touchdown both weeks.
Of course.
So, listen, I'm happy about that as a Browns fan. Jacoby's been getting it done, but last week against the Jets, man, again, I know he won Coach of the Year his first year in Cleveland, but, bro, you've lost to the Jets twice now.
Yeah.
In your 3 years. And what are you doing?
Jets, Jets.
It's pathetic. In a game where
You had that game.
you had that game, you
were good.
What? And again, everyone wants to blame Nick Chubb in that game
Oh, for not going down and scoring that touchdown.
for scoring that touchdown
Yeah.
instead of going down. But no, I put that on the coaching staff. That game is solely on the coaching staff and not preparing their players properly for situational game script.
Right.
It was pathetic. Now they look better on Thursday. I'll take that. And
did.
their game plan is
Man,
shove Chubb down your throat.
that's
That's their game
she
plan.
said.
That's their game. That's their game plan.
I mean, don't get me wrong. They were going up against Mitch Trubisky is fucking awful.
At what point in time do they go to Kenny Pickett?
They have to.
Tomlin keeps saying he's not going to.
I know that. And I don't get it.
Well, I don't understand it either.
Like, you're not going to win games if you're going to let Trubisky play like that. Like, that was horrendous. Like, the dude can actually throw the ball a little bit. Like, let him throw the ball.
Well, and what I don't understand is Tomlin's a good coach.
He is a good coach.
So I don't necessarily like the guy, but he's a good head coach.
Fake all more reps. He's a great coach.
Like so yeah. I mean, I'll just go with that. You're right. He's a great coach. But like when it comes down to it, you're willing to die on the hill of Mitch Trubisky?
That's a bad hill to die on, bro.
Yeah.
Come on,
and
man.
and you and I are both of the same thought process that Mitch Trubisky wasn't as bad of a quarterback as people thought he was.
No,
But he definitely doesn't look good in these first few games.
he is not.
And the fact that you're willing to die on the Trubisky hill as one of the better head coaches that's been around in the league,
Yeah. I don't know, man.
bro, go to Kenny Pickett.
It's time.
Go to Kenny Pickett.
Like, how
What are
much
you
worse?
doing?
Like, how much worse can your offense look if you go to Kenny Pickett?
It can't.
There you go.
It can't. I know he's a rookie. He's going to have growing pains. But at this point in time, just go to him. Anyway,
Yeah,
so
back to the Cincinnati, New York.
Cincinnati, New York. Yeah, so Cincinnati's picked as one of the higher Survivor pool picks for
Yeah.
the week. Not comfortable with that if I'm still in Survivor, which I'm not. So that goes to show you.
You got bounced the first week, didn't you?
I did, as well as most of the people in the Survivor pool
Right.
got bounced in that first week, which was sad. Yeah, I don't like either side of betting in this one either.
No.
I just don't. If I had to take anything, if like gun to my head, I'll take the Jets plus the 6.
Okay. Yeah, all right.
I mean, they've played well enough that I'll take 6 points. Now, could they get routed in this game? It could happen.
I have a feeling
It could happen.
I have a feeling they win this game outright.
They very well could because Cincinnati, we talked about last year.
Especially if they can get pressure on Burrow, which I think they can, because Cincinnati's offensive line is awful.
So the offensive, we talked about this last year. Cincinnati's offensive line was the biggest question, and they played great last year.
And this year,
They're
not
it's
so much.
night and day
It's so bad.
between last year and this year.
it's like Swiss cheese, man.
It's-
So he's on pace to get sacked 111 times.
which is
That's
disgusting.
ridiculous, dude. Especially he's your franchise quarterback, and he's already got a freaking knee injury.
Like he's getting killed back there.
It's bad.
So, yeah, I'd take the Jets plus the 6 if I had to. As far as the offense and fantasy goes, listen, Garrett Wilson had a coming out party last week, right? If you have him on your team, if you have him on your fantasy roster, put him in your lineup. It's worth a shot. Joe Burrow, you have to play. You drafted him as your number 1 quarterback. I do really like Joe Mixon in this game. I think this is a Joe Mixon game. And then, listen, 2 quarterback league, you could do worse than Joe Flacco at this point.
He's actually looked decent.
He has, and it's weird to fucking say that, but 2 quarterback league, if Joe Flacco's one of your choices for second quarterback, I wouldn't be against putting him in there.
Now, here's a question for you, though. Say they do win today, and they go to 2-1, and Wilson is ready to come back and play. Do you keep Flacco in there?
No, once Wilson's ready to play,
You think
put him
so?
in it. Yep.
Okay.
And I'll be honest with you, I'm not a huge Zach Wilson guy.
Yeah, you know
And
my thoughts on him.
you're-
I think he's going to be a bust.
You're
100%.
more against him than I am. I do look at this and I go, all right, you've got Joe Flacco, who's not very mobile.
Nope.
And as much as we joke around and call him elite, Frank does.
Yeah.
He's not by any means. So I think Zach Wilson, if he has the talent that certain people believe he does, fantasy wise, if he's not on a roster at this point, pick him up and put him on your IR.
Yeah.
Because when he comes back, he could put up points. And that's the difference between talking real life football and fantasy football, right? So real life football, will he be a winner? I'm kind of the thought process he won't be. I know you are.
Yeah, we are.
Fantasy wise for this year, if Flacco's putting up these numbers on that team with the weapons that they have,
Yeah.
bro, I'm stashing Zach Wilson on my IR until he comes back, and I'm gonna put him out there because in 2 quarterback leagues, if Zach Wilson is able to put up the numbers that Joe Flacco is, along with some running ability and a younger, more talented arm, that could translate to some big points out of your number 2 quarterback
It
position.
absolutely could.
So, and again, that's the key to talking real football versus fantasy
Right.
football. 100%. Moving on to, I will move on to another matchup that is.
You ready?
Yeah.
I didn't know if you were done with the fantasy aspect.
Yeah, no,
of the,
there's not much more to say about that one,
all right.
honestly. There's some guys. I'm staying away from the Jets backfield. I'll just throw this one out
I
there.
jumped the
real
gun last week.
quick. Yeah, no, you're good.
All right.
I will throw this out there. I'm staying away from that Jets backfield because it's a split. You don't know how it's going to pan out.
Yeah.
I don't really like. I think both players are talented. I don't want to touch that backfield fantasy-wise right now because you just kind of don't know where it's going to go and how it's going to go.
Right.
I think this might be a passing game for the Jets offense. I like Garrett Wilson. Listen, Corey Davis has been pretty good.
Cincinnati secondary is not very good.
They're not. So, and I already talked about how I think this is a Joe Mixon game on the other side of the ball. So,
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, next up we got Frank's Las Vegas Raiders taking on the Tennessee Titans. Both teams are 0-2. 65% of the money is on the Raiders laying 2. 53% of the money is on the over at 45.5. 71% of the money is on Vegas money line at -130.
So, betting wise, I just want to throw this out there for people. If you're on the Vegas side of this, right, go to FanDuel. They have it at -1.5.
Oh wow.
If you're on the Tennessee side of this, go to BetMGM. They have it at +2.5.
Okay.
So it's kind of a wide range on this one. Again, shop your bets. Whichever side you're on, go to the site that is better suited for your side of the bet. I like Vegas in this one. Tennessee has looked putrid.
They have.
Derrick Henry can't get anything going. That offense can't get anything going. It's proven how big of a
Weapon.
loss
Oh yeah.
A.J. Brown was to that team. Treylon Burks just is not ready to take over that role.
Nope.
By all accounts, he's going to be a good wide receiver in the league, but he's just not ready to take over that role yet. I think as much as I do like Ryan Tannehill as a decent quarterback, as a running quarterback, as a player, it's coming down to the time where you might have to go to Malik Willis.
I think, it's kind of like the situation in Pittsburgh. It's you drafted these guys for a reason.
Like at a certain point, you got to go to him.
And Willis got some mop up time against the Bills on Monday night. He didn't look great. He didn't look horrible either.
Well, listen, he's not gonna look great
Right.
at first. I mean, he's a rookie and he's gonna have growing pains. But by all accounts, and I'm not a Ryan Tannehill hater by any means.
Yeah.
But
I literally nothing Ryan Tannehill.
right. I mean, and that's. I mean, I think I think he gets shit on a little bit. I think he's a good quarterback in the NFL. I think he's done well for Tennessee. But at this point in time, he's not playing very well.
No.
And
Is that lack of weapons?
There is a lack of weapons there, yes.
But do you think it's like a combination of things? Lack of weapons and he's just like kind of washed, as we say?
Yeah, see, I don't think he's necessarily washed, but I think Tannehill needs weapons. So there's quarterbacks that make their weapons better, and there's quarterbacks that need weapons to look better
Right.
and be better. With better weapons, Tannehill is a serviceable, good quarterback in the NFL.
Right.
He can get the job done. Without weapons, he's not the guy that's gonna raise anybody's play.
And at this point, you can't lean on Derrick Henry anymore. I don't think personally.
Not when they're stacking the box. I mean, at this point in time, if I have Derrick Henry on my fantasy team, and I was telling everybody before the season started, I didn't want him in any fucking league at all. I wouldn't touch him.
I had him as I could have kept him.
Yep.
At the
And
team
you were,
I took
and
over.
you were fucking brilliant. Not
I'm like,
to.
no, for $75 or whatever
No.
it was. I'm like,
Yeah.
no,
no fucking way.
Nope.
And if you have Derrick Henry, try to trade him now because his value is just going to get lower. And try to find somebody who is a Derrick Henry truther, who's a Derrick Henry believer, and trade him to them.
Yeah, for sure.
Because
You could probably get a decent haul for that.
you could try
Yeah.
at this point, because if you find a Derrick Henry truther, a Derrick Henry believer,
Oh yeah.
trade him to him, because the rest of us
saw it.
wouldn't touch him.
We saw it coming. They get running backs. They only get so many miles, man. And like all the running he did at Alabama, and all the running he's done since he's gotten in the NFL. Plus, he's coming off an injury, like a significant injury for a running back. The writing was on the wall when we went to draft time. I'm like, I'm not keeping this guy.
Nope.
It's done.
Nope. So I mean, and then part of that is going to fantasy. He's running behind an offensive line that is 3 new starters on it.
Yeah.
And
they just lost Taylor Lewan
right. So
again.
Jesus, to a knee injury. I don't necessarily like anybody on that side of the ball. I mean, can the Raiders be had offense on the defensive side of the ball? Yeah, they can. So I mean, you could these guys get some play? Could they get some points? They could. I'm not necessarily happy about having to start any of them, so I'm not going to recommend any of them to you. On the other side of the ball, I think Devontae Adams is a guy I'm going to spend up on in DFS because after having 17 targets in week 1, I believe he had 7 targets last week, right? They won. They haven't won at all. They're 0-2, but Devontae Adams is a guy that you need to get him involved. You brought him there for a reason. You're paying him big money for a reason. Hunter Renfrow is out with a concussion this week. So he has 22% of the target share. That's going to go somewhere. And they got to get Devontae Adams going. In a league that plays zone defense a lot, you have to go to the guys like Devontae. You have to go to your studs, per se, like Devontae Adams, Stephon Diggs, Justin Jefferson, Cooper Kupp. Those guys get open in zone coverage.
Yes,
they find ways to get into that dead spot. And I think this is a big Devontae Adams game. I love him in this game.
I love Darren Waller in this game.
I would agree with that as well.
I love Darren Waller in this game, especially without Renfrow.
Yep.
Like you're talking about some of those targets are going to have to go somewhere.
Yep.
I think that's where they're going to go.
That's and they very well could. I do like Darren Waller in this game as well. And I haven't said that in the first couple weeks so far, but I'm saying that this week, and I'm agreeing with you for sure. 22% of the target share to Hunter Renfro's got to go somewhere. So even if he gets another 10% out of that Hunter Renfro, Darren Waller's already seeing 19% target share. So if he jumps up to a 29% target share, 25% target share,
That's huge.
That's a big step up in a game and can get you some good points. So if you're looking to spend up on DFS at tight end, and actually he's not even going to be, it's not even really a spend up on Darren Waller because he's not rated as one of the higher tight ends right now in DFS. So that's a good play as well. And if you have him on your team, I'd feel comfortable in this matchup. I like Derek Carr in this one as well. I like that Raiders offense to throw a lot against the Tennessee defense, which is not very good against the pass. And Josh Jacobs, we talked about it. He has an illness. He flew in late.
Yep.
He will be playing, but again, how much will be him? How effective will he be?
Right.
How much will be Zamir White? How much will be Brandon Bolden?
Who?
Exactly. And I think they're going to lean on that passing attack. They're going to lean on their brand new toy,
Which is good for me because
Devontae
I
Adams.
have Derek Carr, so that's
Right.
That's good for me. I'm like, all right, sweet,
I have him in a couple leagues as well, and I'm really looking forward to this matchup. I think it's going to be a good matchup for those guys.
nice. Next up, we got the Philadelphia Eagles taking on the Washington Redskins. 61% of the money is on Philly laying 6.5. 54% of the money is on the under at 47.5. 79% of the money is on the Eagles money line at -275. I love the Eagles in this game. I know it's a divisional game. I know it's a rivalry. I get all that, and they're playing on arguably the worst field in the NFL. But I love the Eagles in this one.
I am with you on that one, and I actually love the over in this one as well.
I do too.
Give me a parlay with the Eagles. And once again, people, check your sports books. If you're on the Eagles side of this one, go to DraftKings. They're at -6 on DraftKings instead of 6.5.
See, we provide services for you guys.
Yes, we're giving you information. So information and opinions, and you make your educated decision based on that.
But don't be a dum-dum and bet money you don't have.
Exactly. Gamble responsibly. But yes, I love the Eagles in here at -6, even -6.5.
Yep.
And I love the over in this one as well. I'll parlay them both together.
I just love the way Jalen Hurts is playing. Like we talked about it like in our NFL preview show, like a guy that was going to step up and have his quote unquote breakout. That dude.
Yep.
Frank mentioned that was Jalen Hurts. Yeah, he's finally becoming the quarterback that everybody thought he was going to be coming out of Alabama.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he's
and listen, there's plenty of people that doubted it. You know what I mean? There's plenty of people that doubted it.
I was on the Hurts train. I'm not on the Tua train.
So I've been on both those trains.
Right.
And I think you're seeing what can happen when, again, we talk about setting your quarterbacks up to succeed,
Yep.
right? I think you're seeing what happens with guys when you set them up to succeed.
Yep.
Tua has been set up to succeed in Miami. And you're seeing what Tua's not the piece of shit, can't throw the ball deep kind of quarterback that people wanted to put him out there to be.
Right.
Some of those opinions are short-sighted, and I'm not saying you don't necessarily know what you're talking about, but you have to look at the overall picture. It's like I always talk about with football. There's an overall picture. Mm-hmm. There's the smaller picture where you look at and you go, Tua was 11 for 22, and he only had 150 yards or whatever, and it's like, all right, well, did you look at game script? Did you look at coaching? Did you look at scheme?
You have to take all that into account.
Like, there's a lot of things to look at, and now you're seeing what happens when these guys are set up to succeed.
Right.
With weapons on offense, with the proper game plan, with the proper offensive scheme and coaching, and these two guys are succeeding at this point in the season. It's a long season, but looking at Jalen Hurts, he's everything we said he would be at the beginning of the season.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe all three of us sat on the show and said,
I believe we all did.
This would be the team to beat in that division.
Yep.
I
said at the draft.
Yep.
that the Eagles are going to win that division.
So this is, and it's very much panning out to be that way. Jalen Hurts is for sure looking like he is the guy we thought he was going to be with the weapons. I'm playing everybody on that side of the ball.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Washington, I mean, Carson Wentz, he's hit or miss. Either he's going to have a decent day or he's going to look like absolute dog shit.
Well, and once again, so we're going to look at the reality versus fantasy, right? Fantasy-wise, I'm playing him.
Yeah.
I'm happy with his production so far.
It's been quite good.
Yeah, fantasy-wise, you're looking at it. Now reality-wise, throws some picks at bad times, and you're not necessarily happy with that fantasy-wise because it is negative points most of the time in whatever league you're playing, depending on what league you're in. But he's still producing enough that those points are overshadowed.
Yep.
Those negative points are overshadowed, and you're happy with the production you're getting out of them. So I like both offenses in this game. I like the over in this game, and I'm going to be happy with the production I get out of everybody in this game, I believe. And Devontae Smith, he's only getting an 18% target share to A.J. Brown's 35%.
I mean, but
like I get it, and Dallas Goedert is involved as well, but I think it's too early to bail on the Devontae Smith train, right? He's going to get his points. So maybe you're a wait and see on him if you have other options. But this is a game where I think you could feel pretty comfortable putting him out there. I think he's going to get some play in this game. I think he's going to get some target share in this game.
He needs to, because I feel that these idiot coaches are finally going to realize, hey, maybe we might want to roll coverage over to A.J. Brown so he doesn't kill us, But that means that Devontae Smith has to step his game up.
Devontae Smith has to step up a little bit. And, Dallas Goedert has stepped up in the last game, which was good. I think the more targets, the more receivers you get involved here with Goddard, with A.J. Brown, it's going to be better off for all of them.
Absolutely.
combined.
You open up options.
You open up every one of them will be open at some point on some plays because you just don't know who to cover.
Right.
And then you add in Jalen Hurts' rushing ability, and you're scrambling on defense to figure out where to go and what to do.
All right, next up, we got the Jacksonville Jaguars taking on the Los Angeles Chargers, formerly of San Diego. 54% of the money is on Los Angeles at -3.5. 59% of the money is on the over at 42.5, and 76% of the money is on Chargers money line at -177. Betting wise, I wouldn't touch this game because I don't know if Justin Herbert's going to play.
And that's the tough one, right? It's a 425 game, 415 game,
405.
405.
Yep.
Okay. So betting wise, obviously wait until right before game time.
Yeah,
And figure out whether he's going to play.
they're strongly trying to lean him to sit this one out because that's an injury that can last quite a while.
Right. So they want those ribs to heal.
Yes. I think he took a pain injection this week during practice, and they're talking about him doing another one before the game. Personally, I would say, dude, sit this one out.
So I have if we're talking reality and betting, right?
Yep.
I'll wait until right before game time or an hour and a half before game time and figure out whether Herbert's playing or
Right.
not. If Herbert's not playing, I lean towards Jacksonville and plus the 3.5, but that'll go down real quick once they find out he's not playing. So if you're on that side of it and you think Herbert's not going to play, jump on Jacksonville plus 3.5 right now. Other than that, I really don't want to touch this game betting wise. I'm not really comfortable on either side of this one.
Nope.
With fantasy, this is a tough one, right? So
It is.
I don't think you're comfortable putting Chase Daniel as your quarterback if Justin Herbert's not playing, right?
No.
So in a one quarterback league, your strategy's got to be find a guy on the waiver wire that has the best matchup today because if you're hoping Herbert's going to play, that's one thing. Hopefully you can get a guy that's got a 4:00 start or later as your backup. Mm-hmm. But that's a little tough to do. So if I were you, I would find the best matchup possible and go with that guy, even if it's a 1:00 start, because Herbert, even if he does play, will probably be a little limited. Rib injury is tough to throw with.
For a quarterback, yes.
So,
and even if he does play, I think they're going to kind of rely heavily on the run
game.
Yep.
I have him in a 2-quarterback league, so I have him and Jalen Hurts as my 2 quarterbacks in a 2-quarterback league, which is great when they're both healthy.
Right.
The only other options I have at quarterback right now in that 2-quarterback league are 1:00 matchups.
Oh.
And I'm not comfortable trying to wait for Herbert and just hope he plays or pick up Chase Daniels. I don't like that.
Not gonna happen anyway.
So what I'm doing is I'm playing Joe Flacco.
Yeah.
As my second quarterback.
But that's good because, I mean, like we talked about earlier, he's actually put up some decent fantasy numbers.
He has. So in that league, with that scoring system, he's put up 20 points and 34 points. So if I get that out of my number 2, with Jalen Hurts as my number 1, along with the other players I have, I'm comfortable with that. I'll take it. It's better than getting nothing out of Justin Herbert if you wait until the 4:00 game.
Oh, we got some we got some injury updates.
Oh, yeah, go through them.
J.K. Dobbins, active.
Oh, wow, okay.
Alvin Kamara, active.
Nice.
DeAndre Swift, T.J. Hawkinson, and Aiden Hutchinson, active.
Nice.
There you go.
All right. So let's go through those before we get into any more of this. Let's go through those, right? So Dobbins.
Yep.
Active.
Yes.
I'm a wait and see on that one.
Okay.
Because, listen.
I think they're going to try to ease him in.
They will.
Yep.
And that's what I want to see his usage first. I'm not willing to throw him out there. Listen, if he gets a bunch of play and goes off in this game, great. If you drafted him knowing you were going to have to hold him for a little while because he wasn't going to be playing right away.
Right.
You've held him this long. Hold him off again. See how his usage is. If he goes off, yeah, it's on your bench and it is what it is. But you know, for next game, great, I'm good to go.
Right.
But if you put him out there in your lineup and they ease him in,
he gets 5 touches.
Right, he gets like 5, 8 touches, and doesn't go off, that hurts you more than having those points on your bench hurts you because you probably at this point already have players you can put in his place
Right.
that will get you points because you weren't counting on him. So having him on your bench going off hurts you less than having him in your lineup and having them ease him in and get you like 8 touches.
Right.
So I'm a wait and see on him. Alvin Kamara, I'm playing him. You drafted him. In the second round. You're playing him.
Oh, Jacoby Myers out.
That's a rough one for
Taysom Hill out.
Taysom Hill out. Okay, that one's not so much.
Right.
Jacoby Myers is a rough one. That offense is going to look.
Davis
that offense
is
going
playing.
Gabe Davis is playing. Okay.
Yes.
I like that.
Hayden Hurst playing. Josh Jacobs and Dawson Knox are both playing as well.
Good. Josh Jacobs, I'm staying away from. I don't really like him in this matchup. We talked about it. We think it's maybe more of a passing matchup anyway. He's coming off an illness. Not really sure how I trust that. I tell you what, I like Baltimore more without Jacoby Myers playing as well because he was kind of like the only guy they were throwing to.
Right.
I mean, you're going to have to spread the ball around to Nelson Aguilar and Devontae Parker. Eee.
Hey,
Good luck on that.
enjoy.
But back to Jacksonville and the Chargers. Betting wise, I think I lean Jacksonville in this one plus 3.5. Fantasy wise, I don't know, man. I don't know. I mean, Austin Eckler, you're playing. Gerald Everett has come on as a tight end. But listen, if it's not Herbert, it's Chase Daniels. And will Chase Daniels lean on the tight end maybe? I mean, a lot of times backups do lean on tight ends.
It's your outlet.
I'm not really 100% comfortable with a lot of this game without Herbert in there. I just am not.
No,
and
neither am I.
I could be wrong, but I think Eckler's a good play. He hasn't seen much yet. He hasn't been the guy you drafted him to be, but maybe he is in this one because they might have to lean more heavily on him without Herbert in there. So,
All right.
other side of the ball, listen, Christian Kirk has been amazing.
He's actually earning that contract.
He's earning that big ass contract.
He is.
We didn't think he was going to earn,
No.
but yeah, I mean, I don't dislike him in this matchup or overall that he's what we've seen out of him. James Robinson, listen, he had 23 carries for 64 yards. He's got a 63% snap share. So he's the guy to have in that backfield, not ATN at this point. ETN, if you're playing him, I feel bad for you. You've got to find another option right now until he establishes a bigger role and plays better. And Trevor Lawrence, listen, if you're in a 2-quarterback league, you could do worse. You could also do better,
You could.
but you could do worse. So sometimes, with 2-quarterback leagues, it sucks because if you address other spots first, your second quarterback isn't necessarily going to be an attractive option, and you have to roll with whatever you have to roll with. So if you addressed other positions before your second quarterback, hopefully those positions can help carry you when you have a weaker second option. But I mean, listen, you could do worse. It is what it is. Not it's not a sexy matchup for your second quarterback.
Really
Not a great spot. I mean, you're kind of taking home the last chick at the bar when the lights come on, but it is what it is.
No doubt. I think we've all been there at some point. Next up, we have the other Los Angeles team, the Rams, taking on the Arizona Cardinals. 73% of the money is on the Rams laying 3.5. 76% of the money is on the over at 48.5. 70% of the money is on the Rams money line at minus 185. I mean, I like the Rams in this one. I do. I like the Rams minus 3.5. I'm still not sold on Arizona. I'm not.
Not only am I not sold on them, they've looked bad.
Like, they were lucky to come back and win that game last week.
They very lucky that they played the Raiders, who were just one of 4 teams to blow
Seriously.
leads last week that should have never.
The tackling
been
was
blown.
horrendous. I get Kyler Murray runs around like a 2-year-old who has something he shouldn't have. But it's like, come on, man, you guys wrap him up.
Yeah, that was
Keep him in front of you.
that was bad. But that Arizona team is just not very good. I do like the Rams in this one with you. Fantasy wise, honestly, I'm playing everybody.
Oh, I like the over in this too.
I do.
Yeah.
I do. What's it at? 50
48.5.
48.5.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I like the over in this one as well. Fantasy wise, I'm playing everybody and I'm comfortable with it.
Everybody.
I think this could be an Allen Robinson,
Like a breakout?
like a step up breakout game for him. I think he could get it. If you're looking for 100 and a touch from him, I think he could get it in this one. So the backfield for the Rams is a little bit confusing at this point. So Cam Akers wasn't utilized in week 1, and then in week 2, I believe he got the most carries, but he just wasn't as effective. So like Darrell Henderson was a 4.7 yards per carry, Akers was a 2.9, but yet Akers got more carries, and it's like again. Pointing to coaching, the fuck are you doing? Like you have a running back who's averaging almost 5 yards a carry.
You're getting almost the first down, like every time he touches the ball.
Right,
You know?
you're getting half the yards you need every time he touches the football, and you're going with a guy who's getting you 3 yards a pop, less than 3 yards a pop, as your leading runner in the backfield. What are you doing, man? So I kind of like Henderson in this game. He's getting more bang for his buck when it comes to getting carries. Like I said, 4.7 yards per carry is a huge chunk. So I would go with him in this game. I don't mind him in this game. I would stay away from Akers still for a little bit. Everything else I like in this game. Offense. I mean, you got Kyler Murray as your number 1 quarterback. You got to play him anyway.
Oh, yeah.
But I think he can get you some points in this game, even if it is garbage time. Points.
They all count the
points,
same, man.
Points are points.
Yeah, exactly.
So.
Next up, we have the Atlanta Falcons traveling to Seattle to take on the Sea Chickens. For the love of God, please throw the ball to Kyle Pitts. Jesus.
Hey, by the way, you want to trade Kyle Pitts?
No. Not yet.
I just made a trade for him in another league.
Did you?
I did, yeah.
Nice. This game is basically a pick 'em. 64% of the money is on Atlanta getting 1. 64% of the money is on Atlanta, or on the over at 42.5, and 64% of the money is on Atlanta money line minus 105. So 64% of the money, period, is on Atlanta with this one. I would not touch this game at all. I don't like anything about it. I really don't.
I don't either. If I had to, I would take Atlanta in this game. I think this could, and I'm saying could, I'm not guaranteeing it. I'm not necessarily betting on it. I'm saying this could be a get-right game for Atlanta. This could be the game where they actually show off and put out and get right. I think Kyle Pitts should have a big game in this one. If he doesn't,
Use him properly.
yeah. If he doesn't, I think it's time to start worrying.
Yeah.
Tremendously. Now, I did just trade for him in a league, and I wanted to throw out this trade. So the team I was trading with needed a couple positions, right? Needed more depth than what I did. I was just, and they were upset with Kyle Pitts. They were willing to dump Kyle Pitts
After
right?
2 weeks.
But I mean, he's gotten him 8 points.
Yeah,
in 2
I-
weeks, you know what I mean?
trust me, I get it.
I get it. I wouldn't be bailing on him yet, but I completely understand if you want to. So I traded Michael Thomas, who in the first couple weeks has. You kind of think he's back, right? I mean, he's a couple touchdowns, 2 touchdowns in the first game, 1 touchdown in the second game. Decent usage. David Montgomery, he needed a running back. David Montgomery's gotten decent usage, 15 carries, 120 yards last week.
Right.
And Zach Ertz, who for a tight end has been scoring points. I think he's got 40-some points on the year. So I traded those 3, and I got in return, I got Kyle Pitts and Devontae Adams. Devontae Adams, I paired him up with Derek Carr, who I have in that league as a 1-2 punch.
I think you
there.
definitely won that trade.
I feel like I did. I think for him, what he needed, I think he did okay in that one. He feels okay with it. Obviously, my side of it, I didn't need much depth. I was okay with getting rid of 3 guys for 2, and I upgraded over Michael Thomas.
Yeah. Significantly.
And Kyle Pitts, if he can pan out. Now, the whole key to this one is if Kyle Pitts actually pans out.
Which I think eventually this coach's guy has to see the light and be like, dude.
If Kyle Pitts doesn't pan out, then I lose that trade.
Well, obviously.
But if he does what I think he can do and what he's supposed to be doing.
It's just like, you look at it like what he did in the preseason. And it's like, why wouldn't you continue to do that?
It's baffling to me. It's fucking baffling to me.
I don't know.
But yeah,
yeah, like I said, I don't like anything in this game, betting wise. I really don't.
no.
Honestly, if I had to choose anything, you know what? Give me Seattle.
Really?
Yeah, let Geno cook, baby.
See, and I'm on the opposite side of you here. If I had to take something, I would take Atlanta.
All right.
But again, I'm not feeling comfortable about that at all.
No, definitely not.
On the other side of this, fantasy-wise,
Tyler,
I mean, Cordero Patterson his usage has been pretty good. You put him out there. Kyle Pitts, you have to.
Corduroy Patterson?
Corduroy.
That's right.
Corduroy. Damian Williams is on IR, and Tyler Algier last week actually got some work. The rookie who was very highly touted in the preseason, but was a healthy scratch in week 1. But he got some run last week. I'm holding off on trying to play him. Like, it's going to be a wait and see on that one. He needs to have more usage before I play him.
Right.
Drake London has been good. He's looking to build on a very successful week 2. He was 8 for 86 and a touchdown in that game. I like playing him in this game. And again, I think this is a Kyle Pitts get right game.
God, I hope so.
In DFS, I always give my DFS suggestions. DFS this week, I'm playing Kyle Pitts in a ton of lineups. A ton. Everyone, he's like the Black Plague at this point. Like, people are staying away from him. Like, they don't want to. They don't want to go near him. Like, they just don't. And
I mean, if he's going to be used like he's being used, I get it, 100%.
I do too, but I don't see that continuing. And for me, I'm willing to. He's not a spend up at this point in DFS. He's kind of a spend down a little bit. So I'll take the potential I can get out of him.
Right.
For the amount I'm going to spend in DFS and spend up in other places. And if you get the production that you should get out of him at the price point he's at in DFS, it's fucking perfect.
No doubt.
So I love that. Other side of the ball, Tyler Lockett, he's coming off an 11 target game, 9 for 107. I didn't see that coming under Geno Smith because
let Geno cook, baby.
Yeah. I don't necessarily know. So there's a lack of total pass volume in this offense, though. There just isn't enough volume most weeks for both DK and Lockett to get off, right?
Right.
So you're kind of rolling the dice as to which guy is going to be that week. Atlanta's base defense, they give up a high slot rate. So that's better for Lockett.
Yep.
So and then the backfield here, you got 43% rush attempts by Rashad Penny, Kenneth Walker Jr. or the third. The third is it the third or the fourth? Third.
I don't fucking
had 29%. So that definitely once Kenneth Walker came in and he played in week 2, he was used more than I thought he would be. So I'm not necessarily comfortable playing anybody in that backfield right now.
No, neither am I. Just like I said, fantasy wise in this game, I'm not really unless they've decided that they want to use Kyle Pitts properly.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, fingers crossed. I really don't trust anybody in this game fantasy wise. I really don't. And to your point about the passing volume, yeah, it's kind of like running backs. It's like, well, which one is he going to throw to this week? Is it going to be Lockett or is it going to be DK? Who knows?
Yep.
Hopefully it's DK for my sake, but you know how that works.
Yeah.
Next up, probably the marquee matchup of the weekend. Green Bay traveling to Tampa to take on the Buccaneers. 62% of the money is on Tampa, laying 1.5. 58% of the money is on the under at 42, and 55% of the money is on Tampa money line at -120.
I hate this game.
82.
I don't.
I honestly actually like the over in this. I do.
Really? See,
I think this is a game that you're looking at, and it looks like it's going to be like a low scoring affair. I think this game's going to be a fucking shootout.
See, and you're looking at a little opposite of me, and listen, my track record in actual picking of games this year has not been very good. Fantasy wise, probably good to listen to me. Real life betting wise and football wise, probably not yet. I'm very off this year.
Stupid.
Yeah, very off. But when it comes to this one, I have the opposite look as you do. Okay. I see this as being a very low scoring game, and I'm hoping I'm wrong because I have some guys in this matchup that I don't necessarily feel comfortable playing. But I hope you're right. I hope it points to a low score, but it's not.
But it's like all those games that we look at that we like all the time. We think it's going to be a high scoring.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's going to be a track meet, and it adds up like
24
to 17 or
Yeah.
some shit like that.
or even worse, like a 9-6
Right, exactly.
fucking field goal fest.
Fucking kickers.
Fucking kickers. Yeah, in this one. So if you have Aaron Rodgers,
Which I do.
if you have Aaron Rodgers as your number one,
Which I do.
you haven't been happy yet.
I mean, he had a decent game last week against the Bears. Not
Decent.
great. Yeah.
But like I have him in a 2-quarterback league, and I'm actually debating on whether to play him or Trevor Lawrence this week.
Right.
And that's a tough decision for me, and it shouldn't be. Tampa's defense is pretty good, but also Aaron Rodgers is going to be without, like, Alan Lazard has been in and out of practice. Limited participant, did not participate. Limited participant. You have no clarity on whether he's going to be playing because he was mostly a decoy in week 2. Sammy Watkins got put on IR, which how many of us fucking saw that coming?
Weird.
I know.
I posted in our group chat
Very
yesterday.
strange. I mean, like we kind of all saw that coming.
He has one game and he dipped.
Yeah, it's like one game. See ya. Yeah, I just Randall Cobb's been banged up, hasn't practiced all week. I don't know. Like Aaron Rodgers is still Aaron Rodgers, but who the fuck's he going to throw the ball to? That's my question in this game, and that's why I have a hard time. That's why I'm debating on playing Trevor Lawrence over him because is Alan Lazard as a decoy, Randall Cobb hasn't practiced, Sammy Watkins is on IR. You got Christian Watson who isn't going to play. Romeo Doubs.
One of those guys has to break out.
Christian Watson's not playing, so like Romeo Doubs, a banged up Alan Lazard, and I don't know. I mean, have you gotten a phone call yet? Because I mean, they might be calling one.
I got a number that I didn't recognize, so I didn't answer.
Was it a Green Bay area code?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I didn't even check. I should probably check that.
Yeah.
They did. Obviously, it wasn't that important. They didn't leave a voicemail. So
well, maybe they were just putting out feeler calls.
I guess maybe.
But yeah, that's what scares me about Aaron Rodgers in this matchup.
Yeah.
Is Aaron Rodgers is Aaron Rodgers, but who is going to get the ball at the other end of that throw?
Yeah.
And that's tough for me on this one. This is a Leonard Fournette game on the other side of the ball for me.
Yeah.
You know,
And you got to look at Brady. Like that dude just looks totally uninterested in football now.
he does, and if you're hearing, if the reports are true, I can kind of see why.
Yeah.
Like he came back and probably shouldn't have, and but if you look at who he has to throw the ball to, right? Chris Godwin's been ruled out. Mike Evans is on a 1-game suspension. You've got Julio Jones, who's having problems with his knee. Russell Gage with a hamstring. Brashad Perryman with a knee. They're all listed as questionable, right? So you're already without your two better receivers, and then those guys are listed as questionable. You got Cole Beasley, who was just signed to the practice squad last week, or this week actually.
Looked like he was struggling in his practices too. Like he didn't understand what he was doing.
So just like Aaron Rodgers and who he has to throw the football to, I know it's stupid to doubt Tom Brady because he's Tom Brady, but who the fuck is he going to throw the football to?
I don't know.
So that from this game on any aspect of it, I'm worried about this game. Maybe the running backs on both sides. Aaron Jones.
I think Aaron Jones.
A.J. Dillon.
Yeah. Especially Aaron Jones, because he seems to be getting more of the work, workload.
Well, he's getting more of the receptions for sure.
Yep.
And then he's good enough that he can break out and get some big runs.
Right.
It could be either one of those guys as far as running that breaks out every week. Aaron Jones gets more production in the passing game, so he's more of the guy you would want. I think both running backs are serviceable and are playable in this game, and I also like Leonard Fournette on the other side of the ball. I think the running backs are the ones I'm leaning on in this game.
Nice. Next up, we got the 49ers taking on corny-ass Russ Wilson and the Denver Broncos. That guy's such a dork. He really is, man. He's such a cornball. 75% of the money is on San Francisco laying 1.5. 72% of the money is on the under at 44.5. 65% of the money is on San Francisco money line at minus 125. I like San Francisco in this game. I do. I think you see it. They play better with Jimmy G. They just do.
Yep. They do. And I real life football wise, I think it's too early to panic and cast Trey Lance away as not being anything, right? I mean, he didn't play much last year, very sparingly. In a game and a couple plays this year, listen, they had a bad weather game, and I wouldn't say he's not going to be good at this point. I'm not ready to say that. San Francisco's got a hard time. Is going to have a hard time with this one because he's out this entire year. So basically, last year was a wash. Last year was not much. They didn't utilize him very well. This year is completely done because of the injury.
Right.
So he's going to be 2 years into his contract, coming back from an ankle injury next year.
Yeah.
On a rookie deal. That doesn't give you long to figure out whether he's your guy or not.
It doesn't.
So that's going to be tough for them. I think next year San Francisco's going to have to, if we're talking real football, they're going to have to let Jimmy G go.
Oh, yeah.
They're going to have to roll with Trey Lance.
They almost had a trade during the offseason with Washington.
So they need to make sure that happens this time. Like, let him go. And listen, next year, if you're going to roll with Trey Lance and try to figure out if he's your guy, you have to roll with him, period. And that means even if you go, 5 and
right.
5 and 12.
Yep.
If you go, 6 and 11, you have to roll with that. Let him grow, let him mature, let him get better, and figure out if he's going to be your guy or not.
I agree. You can't have somebody there looking over his shoulder.
You can't.
You can't do that.
You can't. And
granted, it worked out for him this season.
It did, and we all said that they're Super Bowl contenders.
Yeah.
I have them picked to go to the Super Bowl.
You do.
They were it was very close between them and who you and Frank picked in Philly.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they have a better shot to get there now with Jimmy G.
You see, and maybe this is a locker room thing, but it just seems like they wanted Jimmy G to start all along. They didn't want Trey Lance to start at all.
They didn't, and again, I don't think it's anything against Trey Lance. I think it's the age, and I think it's the fact that Jimmy G has gotten him there before.
And especially, like, you have a window to win now. Why are you throwing in a quarterback that
by all accounts
probably not ready?
By all accounts, is still a rookie.
Right,
well.
exactly.
He didn't play his entire last college year.
Yeah.
And then last year he was used sparingly, so he was almost 2 years away from real full football. And then next year he's going to be 3 years removed.
Yep.
So
if I'm a player on that team, I'm kind of like, well, keep the other dude in.
Right.
Like, he got us to a Super.
Exactly.
He got us to a Super Bowl.
He got you to the national champ. Oh, yeah, the national. He got you to the NFC Championship game.
Yeah.
He got you to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So I mean, like, yes, you're right, and the team kind of backs that up.
And it's like, well, why are you closing our window now?
Right.
Like, you are choosing to close our window to win a Super Bowl here.
Yep.
But
And no player wants that.
Hell no.
So, I will say that I'm with you. I like San Francisco in this game. I think they pull out. I think it's going to be a close game. I think it's going to be a hard-fought game. I do like San Francisco to pull this off in the end. I'll even give up the 1.5. I'd rather take them on money line, but I'll give up the 1.5 as well.
Right.
Looking at fantasy-wise, so talking about San Francisco, we'll stay on that side of the ball for right now. San Francisco in early down pass frequency is last in the league.
Really?
They run the ball more than anybody else on early downs.
Right.
And with that being said, Trey Lance is not in there anymore, and he was getting some runs. I love Jeff Wilson in this game. I think they're going to use him early. They can use him often. He's not the most dynamic runner. He's not the most athletic runner.
Right.
But what he does, and what Kyle Shanahan and most coaches love, what he does is he knows where to be. He's good at pass protection, but he knows what hole to hit, and he hits it. And he knows where to be, where to line up. He's very efficient in those aspects. The coaching staff loves him for those reasons.
Right.
He's going to be utilized early and often in this game. I have him pegged for 100 yards and a touch in this game, just based off of what his usage will probably be. I know there's some Marlon Mack truthers out there He was just signed off the practice squad.
Okay.
Guys, he hasn't been on the team that long. Now down the road a little bit, could he start getting some carry or whatever? Could he get a couple carries in this game just to get him into it? Yes. But to me, this is a Jeff Wilson game.
Yeah.
This is a game where they're going to utilize him early and often. I love that play in this game. The other guys, Deebo Samuel. There's nothing you can say about it. You're playing him, and he's utilized so much in the offense between pass and rush. You're happy with that. Brandon Ayuk is kind of coming around a little bit. Like he's being utilized a little more. So if you could do worse than that. Judy is limping. He's banged up on that side of the ball. Cortland Sutton is kind of,
I don't know. He's hit or miss.
well, he's kind of proven to be through 2 games.
Yeah.
Russell Wilson's go-to guy.
Cornball.
Like it's kind of like I said at the beginning of the season. Jerry Jeudy was going to be the Tyler Lockett, and Cortland Sutton was going to be the DK Metcalf, right? I mean, Tyler Lockett, a bunch of his catches were 40-yard passes,
Right.
bombs, deep passes. The fast guy, the burner, the get behind the defense, take the top off the defense guy. And Cortland Sutton is DK Metcalf. He's the cut it over the middle. He's the 10-yard hook. He's the 15-yard out route. That's the guy you're getting. He's the slant route. That's the guy you're getting in Cortland Sutton, and he's kind of proved through 2 weeks to be Russell Wilson's go-to at this point. So I'm very comfortable with Cortland Sutton at this point. Jerry Jeudy's still banged up. You keep an eye on that one. If you have other options before that game, I would utilize them just to be safe.
Right.
So
And the last matchup of week 3. God, can they stop putting this game on Monday Night Football?
Oh, it's fucking
seriously,
brutal.
man. Dallas traveling to New York to take on the Giants. This game is basically a pick 'em. 51% of the money is on Dallas. Dallas is the dog in this one. Dallas is getting 1. 80% of the money is on the over at 39.5, and 66% of the money is on the Giants money line at -115. I do like the over in this one.
really,
I do. I wouldn't bet it, but if I were to bet it, I would bet the over.
what is the over at?
39.5.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, both teams have proven to be able to score so far in the first couple games this year, even with Cooper Rush in there. Man, this is a tough one. I'm staying away from this all around.
Yeah, I mean,
I might make some. I might make a parlay with just some player props
Right.
in this one, just to make it interesting for myself on
Oh,
Monday
for sure.
night. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
But other than that, I think I'm staying away from everything in this game. It's gambling wise. I just don't like anything on either side of this. Maybe the over, like you said, but
I mean, Cooper Rush, he's next Dak Prescott, according to fucking Jerry Jones. Jesus.
at what point in time is he going to stop talking?
Dude, there's a reason why your franchise has not won a Super Bowl in damn near 30 years. It's because you are the constant in this.
You.
But I won 3. No, you didn't. Jimmy Johnson won 3.
Right.
Not you.
You're the guy. You're the reason why they haven't won.
Seriously, man.
Just sit down and shut up.
Jerry Jones.
Jared Jones. On the fantasy side of this, I love Saquon Barkley in this game. I think he looks like he has that burst back, man. He looks like he's back.
As long as that dude can stay healthy.
As long as he can stay healthy, he's playing like he's back.
Yep.
And I'm going to roll with him until he's not healthy.
Right.
And you drafted him early enough, you're going to. I'm just saying I really like him in this game as well. If you have to play him, Zeke Elliott could get some play in this game. The New York rush defense is not necessarily great. And listen, I know there's a bunch of Tony Pollard truthers out there, and he hasn't gotten the run like people expected him to. They haven't rushed the ball a whole lot in Dallas anyway, but through 2 games, Zeke has been the guy that they're handing the ball off to. Pollard's gotten some play out of the backfield as far as catches goes and as far as targets goes. But it hasn't been the overtaking of the backfield by Tony Pollard like a lot of people thought it was going to be. So you could do worse than Zeke Elliott in this game.
I think it's a money thing though too, with what they're paying Zeke. They're not going to let Tony Pollard overtake that fucking backfield.
No, that's what I said from day one.
Yeah.
There's just no fucking way it's going to happen, and that's the reason why I said it wasn't going to happen. Is they're gonna run Zeke until the wheels fall off because they're paying him so much money. And listen, on the other side of that, Tony Pollard last year did look better than Zeke.
He did.
Zeke had a knee injury last year as well. This year, Tony Pollard has not looked better than Zeke. Neither one of them looked very good, but Tony Pollard has definitely not looked better than Zeke this year, like he did last year. So that goes into play here as well. CeeDee Lamb, I have him ranked as about my 10 to 12 wide receiver range. You have to play him. You drafted him high enough, you have to play him. I'm not necessarily comfortable with Cooper Rush as the quarterback, but you could do worse. And hopefully Cooper Rush leans on his stud and the main receiver there, right? Like your alpha receiver. It looks like Dalton Schultz will not be playing in this game, so you need to look at other tight end options if that is your tight end, which for me is in two different leagues. So I had to go in other directions. So again, I think CeeDee Lamb might be relied on even a little bit more with Dalton Schultz going to be out in this one.
That's what I'm curious to see, like what his safety valve is going to be.
Yeah.
Especially with Dalton Schultz, probably, out.
And listen, it could be Zeke.
It could be.
It could be Tony Pollard. It could be one of those guys in the backfield. But yeah, with Dalton Schultz, and the sad part is last week, Dalton Schultz, he only missed 12 plays because of his injury last week, and he only had 4 targets before that. So it's not like Cooper Rush was really going to him anyway.
No.
So even if he does end up playing, which by all accounts he won't, I think you've got better options than Dalton Schultz right now anyway.
Right.
And it sucks because if you're like me, you drafted him as your number one tight end.
Right.
You waited on tight end a little bit, and you drafted him as your number one. Well, we've got to look for better options at this point right now.
Right.
So.
Well, that's it.
That's
week 3.
That's week 3. Man, I just once again looking forward to just watching some football today.
Absolutely. You have the game on, throw on Red Zone. Beautiful.
Yep.
It's a beautiful thing. Love it.
Absolutely. So hopefully everything, or at least most things we said here today, will help you out.
Ideally.
First few weeks, betting wise, we haven't really helped anybody out,
Don't hold us
including ourselves.
Right.
Fantasy wise, we are pretty good on some of a lot of our suggestions, I should say.
Yes.
So, with that being said, enjoy your Week 3 NFL Sunday. We will be back live Tuesday night at 7:00.
Yes.
And I always want to say 7:30 when we're doing the 10:30 show. I don't know why, but it's 7:00 on
7:00.
Tuesdays.
Yes.
Live Tuesday, 7:00. We will be back for the OG show, Sports on Tap Detroit.
Yes. We will recap Week 3 action.
Yes, and we will have our picks for the week. We will recap our picks so far that we've done. And so join us for that show Tuesday night, 7:00, live on Facebook, Twitch, YouTube. Enjoy your football Sunday. Win some money. Win some fantasy leagues. And, just have a good fucking day.
That's right.
Down the field.
Fuck this shit, I'm out. Fuck this shit, I'm out. No thanks. Don't mind me. I'ma just grab my stuff and leave. Excuse me, please. Fuck this shit, I'm out. Nope. Fuck this shit, I'm out. Alright then. I don't know what the fuck just happened, but I don't really care. I'ma get the fuck up out of here. Fuck this shit, I'm out.